Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. I want you to meet John Doe. Obviously, he's not here with me, so I'm asking you to visualize. You probably know John. You may even see yourself in him, some family member of yours or relative. John is not having a good day. He suspects one of his employees is selling company supplies on eBay. He got a call from his daughter's principal, and she says, "Mr. Doe, if you don't come to my office by 2 p.m. today, we're going to have to expel Angela." Angela is his 18-year-old daughter. She's graduated from high school, and she has a full scholarship to Berkeley. Now, John has a good thing that's happening to him today. He's celebrating 25 years of marriage. The not so good thing is he forgot about it until his wife called him from the restaurant at 6:30 where they had 5:30 reservations. So obviously, John is not having a good day. Now, moving aside from the bad day, think about the three situations. He thinks one of his employees is stealing, his daughter potentially could be expelled from school, and he forgot his silver anniversary. Can anybody help me in telling me what those three things might have in common? Sure, they're stressful. They're stressful, that's a good one. Anybody else? Stephanie?
John,
okay. Anybody else?
they're important to situations.
They're important situations. One more? Yes? Well, all of those answers were correct. But today's topic is about having a difficult conversation. All three of those things require a difficult conversation. Turn to your neighbor, the person next to you. So turn to the person next to you, okay? And you're going to repeat after me. Neighbor. Neighbor. We're going to create.
We're going to create
a conversation map.
A conversation map.
Let's try it again, because we're not doing this. Turn to your neighbor. Say, neighbor.
Neighbor.
We're going to create.
We're going to create
A conversation map.
a conversation map.
A difficult conversation is anything that you find it hard to talk about. Quite simple. And we all have something that trips us up. Now, Winston might be able to give good advice or give negative feedback without squashing around. But you might have trouble with emotional topics. Everyone has something that they're good at talking about, and most of us have areas for growth. Okay? I'm going to give us a 6-step map for handling these conversations, and yes, I did say 6 steps. The first step is to start the conversation. So turn to your neighbor. Say, neighbor.
Neighbor.
The first step
The first step
is to start the conversation.
is to start the conversation.
You start the conversation very simply by saying, I want to have a difficult conversation with you. Using those exact words. Because you don't want to talk to someone, you want to talk with them, because you want to have dialogue, and you want or need the conversation, right? Okay. I'm going to give you a sample conversation. Raise your hand if you think that having to talk with someone in the workplace about body odor might be a difficult conversation. Okay. I think so too. I work in HR. And I often have to have this conversation. I'm not picking on anybody in particular, but I am going to pick somebody that I know isn't going to get angry and say, do you think I smell? So David, thanks so much for coming to my office. I wanted to speak with you privately. I need to have a difficult conversation with you. It's awkward, and I hope I don't offend you, but lately you've had a noticeable odor. It might be that you need to wash clothes more or shower more. This is the kind of thing that typically people don't notice about themselves. So I wanted to make you aware of it and wanted to see if you could address that. I really appreciate you coming in, and you know that I know how much teamwork is important to you. And I know you'd want to know anything that might potentially negatively impact the team.
Thank you for pointing that out.
That's an example of a difficult conversation. So step number 2, which I didn't use because I only used 4 of the steps, but step number 2 is actually about the agreement. Making sure that you talk about the original agreement. And that may include something like, when we got married, we vowed to love, honor, and cherish. Okay? Step number 3 is actually one I used. Say exactly what you see. Very simply, very simplistically. People don't appreciate all the extra conversation. That sandwich method doesn't work when you have to talk about difficult conversations. Just say it. Step number 4 is acknowledging your own part in the issue. Because usually you play some part. An example might be, Elizabeth, I should have talked to you about this about 2 months ago and I let it go too long, and I apologize. Step number 5 is about intentions. I used it with David. When I looked at what he might be positively doing, and then I tried to link that to the issue at hand and why I was talking to him. And the last step, number 6, is simply asking for their thoughts. You put the ball back in their corner, because essentially when you're having a difficult conversation, what they need to do is important. So you've got the 6 steps, okay? And I want you to turn to your neighbor and say, neighbor, I've got the 6 steps.
I got the 6 steps.
And the map. For having a difficult conversation. Thank you. I actually have a handout so you can remember the 6 steps. Thank you.
Do you do counseling?